Previously on Sailing Adrift, we simplified our bearing post for the mast and reinstalled it.
And we'll have this pole. So how's your stripper pole? Whoa!
Whoa!
I think it's in a great spot.
Next, we started building the floor.
I'm making California.
Then, we experienced what it's like to have a floor.
Why am I so turned on right now?
We also had some extra help from Chris's dad, Greg, and brother-in-law, Justin, to start the framework for the couch.
The couch that we're building.
We got to test that as well, and it was a smashing success.
Great, this will be perfect. So just what I was hoping.
Now this week, we have something a little different for you. We're going to Iowa. Well, one of us is going to Iowa. Right now, I bet you're thinking, why Iowa? That seems random. What's in Iowa? Do you really love corn that much? How is this relevant? Are there boats in Iowa? Well, here's the backstory. Aww. I have a little brother, and his name is Kyle. Kyle is all grown up now, and he's going to be a surgeon. He recently found out his residency program is in Iowa.
Sorry.
So, my whole family is moving to Iowa, including my mom and this little guy here, Waffle. The situation presented a perfect opportunity for an epic road trip. But first, I had to get from Portland, Oregon to Spokane, Washington. This part was easy, took less than an hour. Then it was time to load up the car and get a move on. Oh, we also added this. Here's to hoping I did that right. Okay, so what's our problem?
Two moose.
Two moose are on the highway.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks.
It's the beginning.
This is the beginning. We're already behind.
I do want to mention that both lanes of I-90 are back open after two moose wandered near the highway.
Say goodbye, house.
My house. On the new house.
You good, Woffs? You got enough room? We're rolling. Going places. Going to Iowa. First stop, we're going to Starbucks. Waffle just living his best life with his puppuccino. We've entered Montana. This is what Montana looks like. I wonder what Chris is up to.
Okay, all done. That looks pretty sharp. Should be nice and easy for us to get it all nasty eventually, but now we can put the floor down. What's weird to me is how quickly these covers got nasty. I think once all this dries, I'm gonna come down here with like a scrub brush and some soap and see if they don't clean up or if they somehow got epoxy on them or what. It's not the end of the world, but come on, I just installed those. Why are they so gross already? That is it for now. Ooh, bake in there a little bit, and I have places to be.
Is it lunchtime yet? Freddy's Steak Burgers. Oh, this smells good. That looks like a gut bomb. It looks good though. I'm excited to eat it. I'm starving. This looks really meaty and delicious. This was the longest leg of driving. Took us about 8.5 hours to get from Spokane to Billings, Montana. That's 539 miles. It's not a very prominent welcome sign. It's like hidden behind a bunch of poles. Oh good, we found the women's prison. I didn't realize we were staying downtown. It's pretty cool. Downtown Billings. We have arrived. Just pull in anywhere. Woffs, you ready to be out of the car? Ready to get out of the car now? Are you ready? You want to go somewhere? I'd like to go somewhere. I'd like to go to the room now. Here I am exploring downtown Billings, Montana by walking to the nearest Albertsons and buying a bottle of wine and getting takeout. Not a whole lot happening in Billings, so we just relaxed in the room and penciled out tomorrow's adventure. Cheers! We made it. This is the morning of day 2. We are headed to Pictograph State Park in Billings, Montana. This should be fun. I'm excited about this one. We might have to do some hiking, got our gear and our shoes. Waffles, so ready. Oh look, a little minion. Well, there are people here, so that's a good sign.
You've arrived.
Wonder what Chris is up to. What do you think he's doing? Do you think he's working on the boat?
Kelly's on a road trip with her mom, so I'm getting after it because I have lots to do and no one to pester me. She's always distracting me, making it difficult, constant need for attention. She's a very needy person. But what is this, you might ask? This is the fabric that you put under like an engineered floor, like compact laminate or vinyl or something like that. What we're going to use it for is a cushion between the floor that we're putting into the salon and the top of the water tank, because I want to give it a little bit of sponge and make sure that we mitigate any kind of squeaking. I don't know why that bugs me so much, and I probably won't. You know, like that's part of the charm of a sailboat, but I'm going to do my best to make it a minimal charming sound and not a just obnoxious like constant sound. So this will go over the water tank. The floor will be tethered into a bunch of different areas, so I'm not too terribly worried about it floating. That's the mission for the day. I also have that armrest to keep working on. So what I'm trying to do today is cut all the pieces to the rough shape before we actually join them all together. Then I'm just going to leave them in a big pile for a couple of weeks to try to let the sun dry them out as much as humanly possible, and then we'll assemble them, and that should prevent it from having any problems long term. So we're going to keep working on that piece, and we'll kind of like loose assemble it just to make sure it looks cool, and I want to see it. And then what else will we do? Just putting in the floor. Oh, bathroom walls will also be going up in the doorway. So those are my major goals for the weekend. I think that's actually doable. Again, this is just going to sit underneath there so we don't get any weird abrasion or rubbing. So we'll get out our giant scissors and trim this up a bit before we lay the floor down. Ah! Why is it that every pair of scissors that I end up with have a coating of epoxy and a bunch of stabbies and gross little... Also in the comments below, mention the fact that you don't really mind Kelly being gone and you love this like really technical, dry approach to sailboat videos that I am presenting to you now, because I know how great this is and fun to watch. Kelly's kettlebells are awesome. They're perfect little weights. And right now I'm very happy with this whole setup. This is indicative of 6 measurements, 5 of which were at 0 and 1 was at 0.05. So I don't think we could get this any more level based on our numbers. Plus my markings are lined up. Everything looks great. So I'm going to try to avoid standing on this. We're going to goo thickened epoxy around the edges to get down into the cracks. To create a great no void bond with the hull, and then we'll tab these in with 4-inch double thick fiberglass. Means you only need theoretically 1 layer of this, which acts as 2 because one side is like fiberglass mat. The other side is the good 1708 or whatever the heck the bi-axle fiberglass product is that I've been using. Nice heavy duty stuff. It becomes rock hard. The only time I use more than one piece of tape is when I'm doing something structural, like with these bulkheads behind me. These have 2, so that's the equivalent of 4. So it's time to mix up some epoxy. We'll use the slow stuff, but it's already getting hot. It's supposed to be pushing 90, which is pretty unheard of here in Portland in the middle of summer, let alone, you know, May still. That's the next step. Gonna do it. Gotta do it right now. When it's hot outside and you want to cool off, one thing you can do is come in and pump the epoxy, get it all ready for your job. Now that that's done, you gotta get the rest of the stuff ready, which means wiping everything down with acetone to get it nice and clean and ready for bonding. And then we'll brush on the non-thickened epoxy before we squeeze in the thickened epoxy and smooth everything out to make fillets. Right after that, we'll just go ahead and tab it. So probably should do some measuring for this stuff right here, and then cut some peel ply as well. I'm gonna call this too boring to film, mostly because I don't feel like doing it. It takes a long time to film things, like almost twice as long as it does to just do it. So I'll get all the little intricacies done, the wipe down done, the things cut, and then we'll get up there and do the rest.
We are now approaching the first cave. I can't believe that that's the fine for vandalism. That doesn't seem like enough. 750 bucks?
Doesn't seem like enough.
No,
Okay,
I guess. We hiked onward towards the middle cave and then somehow totally missed it. Then proceeded to the third and final ghost cave. This cave's a lot cooler. There's a lot more things in here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Plus there's ghosts. That was fun. What did you think?
I really enjoyed it.
Yes.
It was good.
That was awesome. I think that was definitely worth $4. Don't you think? Yeah. Yeah, $4 a person, and you get a little hike out of it, and the trails were really well maintained. There was a visitor center. So I think that was a real win for our first event of the trip. First real event. Yeah. I wonder what Chris is up to.
Alright, so everything's wiped down with acetone. Now I'm just taking some epoxy and I'm going to brush down the areas that we're going to tab, and then we'll squeeze some thickened epoxy into things. It works a lot better if your wood is nice and saturated with epoxy, because otherwise if you put thickened epoxy on it, it might pull the epoxy out of the filler and give you like a dry joint. That we don't want. So I'm just going to get everything wetted out a bit. We got more exciting things to do. There, all done. Everything is tabbed and peel plied. Isn't it beautiful? There we go. We're gonna let this just hang out because everything is very, very level, and I want to keep it that way until the epoxy hardens. It shouldn't take too terribly long. It's probably 90 degrees up in here. It is warm. So I'm gonna go down to the shed, maybe grab a quick drink before, and we're gonna get going on that armrest.
This is the Northern Cheyenne Indian Reservation. There's a lot of crap on your windshield. Trying to get these beautiful landscapes, and there's bug guts everywhere. You know what this reminds me of? Land Before Time. Isn't it? It's like the Great Valley everywhere. everywhere. Quick pit stop for fuel in this little ghost town called Brodus. This is actually the county seat of Powder River County, Montana. Population 468. Glad we stopped because the bicycle was looking a little sketch. Well, glad I'm checking on this. That's gonna pop right off. I fixed it though. It's back on. It's more secure than ever.
What do you mean more than ever? What does that mean?
Nothing. It's fine. We'll just check on it from time to time. The seat came off, so we had to reconfigure the setup. Not sure how that happened. Wild antelope. They're so wild.
Where the deer and the antelope play.
Woo, Wyoming! We cut through the northeast corner of Wyoming. Nothing to stop for, but this marks 767 miles of travel so far. Our next stop is Belfouche, South Dakota, where the geographic center of the nation is located. This is a very controversial subject. This is Belfouche, or Belfouche. I don't know how to say it. We should figure that out.
You've arrived.
This is it. This is the center of the nation. After taking way too many photos with a very wiggly but super photogenic waffle, we explored the visitor center. Unfortunately, Waffle had to wait outside. We thought this was a gift shop, but it's actually a museum. That is crazy. Like, why would there be so many types of barbed wire?
The first patent for barbed wire was issued in 1886 in Ohio.
We made our way through the rest of the exhibits and then got back on the road. We made it to Rapid City. There's our hotel. There's the rolling hills. That's where The Sound of Music was filmed. I love this dog, but he is a serious tripping hazard when it comes to leash time. So I ditched him. I've decided this seems safe. Check this out. My running trail. And the cows can watch over me, and I can smell the sweet grass. Look at the clouds, the beautiful sky, a lot of nothing. Oh look, there's a Taco Bell. Welcome to South Dakota. 857 miles into our journey, we're treating ourselves to a dinner at what I believe to be Rapid City's finest establishment, Dakota Steakhouse. Mostly because they've been working directly with Buffalo Trace Distillery, which happens to produce the best bourbon Chris and I have ever had. And I would like a glass of their exclusive barrel. We got pheasant poppers, walleye, which is South Dakota's state fish, cheslick, and you're having some Pinot.
I am.
Mm-hmm. Cheers. And I'm having some Buffalo Trace. As the sun goes down and we enjoy our dinner, tonight marks about the halfway point in our journey. Tune in next week as we hopefully make it to Iowa, and Chris keeps busting out projects and building our boat.
No squeaks. No squeaks. No squeaks.
Hey you, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw and you want to keep following along, become a subscriber. Just hit that subscribe button below. And special thanks to our patron crew. We really appreciate your support.